What's up, guys? Tom here for Yummy Cereal. Sorry, that's the wrong intro. This is Tom here for feelingtopplus.com, and we are here for podcast number 19. That is Mum cackling in the background because we are having a barrel laugh tonight. And unfortunately, Phil is not here today. Do you have something on your chest, Mum? Do you want to get it out?
We're having a barrel laughs, and unfortunately, your father's not here.
Right, let me just get this out. We're 30 seconds into this thing, struggling with the intro. Phil is not here because he is up at a seminar in Sydney for 4 days, and we have replaced him. Well, we haven't replaced him. We have a new... Is it really that funny? Well, it's just my natural humour. We have a new guest on the, new member of the podcast, Louise. Say g'day.
Hello.
That's my sister. That's my little sister, and
She's the big sister.
Well, she's actually quite small. And tonight, we are just going to be having a bit of chat. We're going to have a bit of yarn
Hi
here.
everyone, it's Janine.
We're just having a bit of a yarn here while I'm interrupted for the 700th time in a minute about production and structure and communication especially, which I found interesting because apparently I won't speak for Dad, but apparently I am a terrible communicator and I'm incredibly impatient. Mum, you talked about the huff this morning on a video, and we're just going to be talking about communication. It's going to be fun. Mum, the huff. What is the huff, and why does it annoy you so much?
The huff.
Yeah.
Your huff, Tom, is a signal that I can't be bothered. I'm not listening to you. It's too much of a chore.
And how much do I do this, Mum? Do I do this a lot, or do I do this a little?
You do this, I think it goes over the little mark.
Yeah.
I think it might go over the little mark.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, as we have discussed previous to the podcast beginning, that I have habits that annoy the
Piss out of me. For
the
example,
jeebies.
we did a video on this today. I don't see how it's hard at all when you film a video. You turn the phone to the side every single time and you film it landscape. I don't find that hard. It's just not that hard. Before you press record, you turn it to the side. And yet you continually film videos from the portrait perspective, which just grinds my gears, Mum. I can't handle it. So as you can hear, guys, we're having a conversation about communication and the little crappy stuff that pisses us off. Because if you're in the business by yourself, you won't know this, but we're in a business of 3, 4 people and a dog. Thank you very much. And there's little things you got to communicate with each other. You got to be in sync with each other. You got to, and there's a lot of great stuff about it, but there are little things that just drive you nuts. I think. Louise, do you have anything that drives you nuts about? Little things. I want to stress little things that drives you nuts about Mum and then me. Let's bring to the table, but I stress little because if we go too big, then there'll be a big fight. A guy will jump in. There'll be a war. Thank you, Coco, for ruining the audio. Go ahead, Mum. I mean you. Just go, Mum, first. Oh, and you can do it on me first.
I think of you. I don't know why. You're really irritating, but nothing springs to mind.
See?
But you know what? You're quite happy. Here's the difference. You're quite happy to just say to yourself, "Oh, that's Tom," and it doesn't bother you.
No.
No, do you know what? His annoyances I can walk away from because we're not doing a task together. I have to do tasks with you. And I'd rather lay in front of a car sometimes.
That is an interesting point. She said she can walk away from my annoyances. How about when we're playing Nintendo and we're playing...
You jump on my head!
You see? You see? This
it's
is good.
so rude. It is rude. And I get to be in front.
Oh, well, look at here. Mrs. Leader over here. So, I thought that was a good start. How about Mum?
The detail... The draining detail of reading the entire sentence.
Oh, it doesn't...
And then...
Mum!
A, B, C, D, and it's just like, just tell me 1A.
Yes, and
that's
you know
it. I don't care what number 1 is, or what A, B, C, just 1A, and I'll click it.
You know what's ironic? I think it's ironic, because I don't 100% know what that word means. However... The details that Mum goes through, and especially when she's reading every goddamn word, it drives me freaking crazy. I'm the same. I'm like, God, hurry the hell up.
I don't mean
However, that except when you're talking to me, because it drives me nuts. But whenever you're doing your work, I would say that's one of your greatest qualities. The reason being is because we've talked about this before, when me and Dad do stuff, we're starters. We can start something, but we don't finish it. And any technical problem, you are a genius at figuring out technical problems. And the reason I know the reason I can't do it.
Patience.
I have no patience at all, and I don't read. I really just don't read out of these guys. There's a message that pops up. It's probably telling me what to do, and I'm just like, how do I get out of this message? So what do I do? And then the next step is, how the hell do I get Mum to do this so I don't have to do it? So I think it's fascinating. Anyway, Mum, do you have something to say about something? Since we don't have a topic, again, we're getting better at that. But what do you have to say, Mum?
Well, speaking of the fact that we don't have a topic, as you slobbered all over yourself, how old are you? 2?
7, thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, I missed that birthday.
Whenever somebody asks you about, if somebody asks you a question, always answer 7.
That's stupid.
No, it's always 7.
Stupid.
Unless it's a multiple choice question, in which case you always answer C. Always.
Why 7? 7's a dumb number.
You are.
Your face is.
We're really scraping the barrel of wit here.
Yes, we were.
Anyway,
so
you were saying.
I totally forgotten what I was saying. As we were discussing before, probably one of the reasons of why we come to the table on a Thursday night with not having a topic to discuss, even though there is thousands of topics we could discuss in relation to building a business online or personal development or building wealth, myriad of things to discuss, is that we're not very organised or structured in our day-to-day, weekly.
That annoys me.
What?
The fact that you guys aren't organised annoys me. I'm sitting in the other room and I can hear the dysfunctional stuff that you guys are doing, and I hear how many times you all say the same thing and how nothing changes, and I just...
But this is the thing.
It does
this
my
is
head
the thing.
in.
When we're having these conversations, you think it doesn't change, but the truth is 99.9% of it is exactly the same as what we said the last meeting.
Exactly.
That's all it is. But there's that tiny 0.1% that has changed, and that, my friend, is progression.
Not efficient or productive.
That is progression. That is progression. That's how I see it as.
We will change that.
Well, we will work on... Well, okay.
There will be productivity.
No, there is no doubt we will change that. However, it's not... Can I just say, as we continue this conversation, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a gradual change. It's not just going to be it's just not going to work. I know that's not going to work.
That's just not a very.
But we must put in can we put in a proviso here?
No, you can't. There's no provisos.
No, the proviso. Well, proviso is the wrong word. What I'm trying to say is, even though we're not structured and very disorganised, we're structured enough not structured. I'm trying to think of the word. It'll come to me. We all have our. We all have our role, and we know that the jobs that we have to do every week, and you do a video on Monday, Wednesday, and we do the Friday video. Your father does an article and a blog post on Tuesday and Thursday. We do a webinar every week.
That does the emails.
We do that. We have that in place, but what we were talking about earlier was how to take that. I don't even want to call it a structure, because structure feels like it's very formal, and what we have at the moment is very informal. Is creating
want to make it more productive.
More productive with what we're doing.
Now,
more directed. One
point I will bring up about this productivity structure, and it's something that I brought up before, and I will continue to bring up in the meeting about getting better. No, not communication meeting. The structure meeting is that it's hard right now to have structure when you're working your way
through a maze.
Yes, sort of, because we have a focus now. I do videos, you do the posting and stuff like that. That does the emails, and we do a webinar every week. It's good stuff. It's bloody good stuff, because we've created really good positive habits that are getting us results. We're starting to get a little bit of results. Really good. However, it's not like we're making $20,000 per month and we have the numbers. We have the numbers where we can say, you know what, we need to change it. We need to test another capture page here. We need to do a bit more, put a bit more advertising in here because we don't have the data. So it's hard to structure, in my opinion. It's hard to structure when you don't have the data. That's why when you said the other day, you came out and you said we have to create an avatar for our advertising, which means, from my perspective, if I hear you right, it means we have to come up with a certain group, a demographic of people that we're going to advertise to, and that's what we have to do. And in my head, I'm thinking, no, we can't just come up with that. We have to throw spaghetti against the wall and see if it sticks. We have to do some advertising first, see the numbers, and see which numbers work best, and then focus on it.
Yes, but this is where it comes down to being constructive when you're moving forward. So, yes, we're at the stage where we want to put more money into advertising, etc., etc. So you want to have your structures in place to do that. You don't just throw something at a wall hoping it will stick.
I think we do.
But you have to have the basics. You've got to
yeah,
have
but
the basics.
I think we already have the basics. When I say the avatar is not the basics. The basics is knowing how to put up an ad and having a capture page and having a lead magnet. That is the basics. That's what I believe the basics are. We've got that. We're ready to go. Anyway, we'll talk about more of that in the structured meeting. Anyway, Louise, what are your thoughts on... She's looking very enthusiastic at the moment. What are your thoughts on what we talked about, you coming into the business? What are your thoughts on that?
Good.
Right. Could you be a little more specific, a little more detailed, Mum? You would love
more enthusiastic than every other time you've asked me to do something.
And why is that?
Because
this is great. This is great. This is going to be a learning. Why are you more enthusiastic?
It wasn't a 3-hour-long conversation about what's going to happen when we've built an entire universe and are eventually making millions of dollars. It was, I'll send you the file and you put a picture to it.
Yeah.
I can focus on that.
You see?
I have a task. I know how long it's going to take me. After an 8-hour workday, that thought doesn't drain me. Unlike coming home, creating a website, putting content on the website, doing videos for
It's
the
too
website,
much, isn't it?
researching to put on the website. No! Send me file, put on PowerPoint.
Yes, now
Done.
see, now this is a great teaching point. Dad's talked about this before on how we were going to do it with you, but we didn't. But getting you in the business, we film talking to her and what she does because it's like a teaching point, which I personally, I think it's too messy. However, the point is, Louise just said, and this is a great point for everybody out there, and we've been through it, and we still haven't seen it when we're talking. Although we're getting onto it now with the little skill videos that we're doing for people. You just said that you have to do a 3-hour video, and you have to build a website, and you have to do all this other crap, and it's just too much, isn't it? But you can wrap your head around doing it, getting a document, and putting it on a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Simple. That is a simple thing. So when we're teaching people, and I 100% believe this, you have to give them the absolute basics, the smallest thing. And the key is, when you're talking to them, you have to tell them the truth right at the start. You have to say, you know what, this is not a get rich quick. It's going to take some time. It's going to take 3, 6, not going to take 3. Forget that. It's going to take a year. It's going to take 2 years to develop the skills to get this right. And if you don't give them that, first of all, it's not honest. I hate that. I would rather just give them the absolute truth and say, it's going to take you time. And I told you this quote today, Mum. And I saw this on Facebook. People, and this might be against people who are in jobs or whatever, but I think it's a good quote. It said, people get angry or they get frustrated when they're not rich after being in business for 2 to 5 years. But they're completely okay with working 40 years and being broke at the end of it, which I think that's a nice quote. I'm not getting it 100% right. But the point is, we have to, first off, you start with that truth by saying, look, you have to develop some skills, it's long term, there's going to be some frustrations, and you're not going to get results overnight. That's the first thing. The next step is to say, this is where you start. Let's say we'll start staying video marketing. Shoot a video. That's your next step. Shoot a video. Take a week to shoot a video, because we don't have to rush them, because we know it's long term. Shoot a video. Next week, I'll get on the phone with you and tell me what your experience was with that. then what's the next step? You tell them anything else, and I know this, and you know this when you started. You didn't even know what traffic was. You couldn't even comprehend traffic. I know when we started, all this what?
I thought the thing went off.
No, when we first started, all the crap that they told us, it was probably good stuff. They talked about branding right from when we got started. I couldn't even wrap my head around an autoresponder, for God's sake. It's too much. Because it's like learning, it's like doing this business, online business, is like learning a new language. It's like learning a new language. So you have to start very, very small. And the scary thing about that is, I think, for teachers, because a lot of gurus give a lot. And it's not because they're generous, but it's scary. It's a marketing thing, because if you don't, because you have to, I don't know, you have to give people a vision. So you start off with that. You say, you know, you can dream, it works, all this sort of stuff, and you give them the truth. But it's going to take a year. It's going to take 2 years to develop the skills, and you have to start off small. Anyway, I'm rambling now. That's my point. I think that's a good teaching point with what she said. You start off small because she can't wrap her head around anything else. And I've learned that over the last couple of months.
But that leads itself into one of the things that which we're lucky, because we have a team of people, and even though sometimes it's frustrating because you've got different personalities, but also it lends weight to learning more, because everyone learns in a different way, is that if you're starting this on your own, or even if you are like two people, is having a coach or a mentor or somebody to talk to, because we've all been through it, and that's the nature of the game, is the marketing, and that's what it's there for. That's why it's called marketing, is to get people to get involved with these things and things like that. And people get involved in this euphoria of excitement and everything else like that, and the hype and the you know, the big picture of where it's going to go. But people have to understand that it's a business, and if you've never been in business before, number one, you've got to learn what it's about to be in business. But if you have been in business before or anything like that, it's a totally different business. But in one respect, it's exactly the same. If you opened a shop in a shopping centre, you have to, you know, fit out your shop, you have to find your staff, you have to do your advertising and whatever. You have your big grand opening. Where does your traffic come from?
Salespeople.
From salespeople, from a rent, all these things that you have to you learn, and that is not something that you just wake up overnight and you go, I've mastered it. And this business is not you wake up overnight and oh, by the way, I'm a master of this today.
And that's a good point, because on the internet you will find that. You will find people saying this is the business that's going to happen overnight. We've seen it a million fucking times. We've seen it a million times. So getting a coach, to your point, what a coach does, from our experience, every time we've talked to somebody, Brenda, Robbie, Terry, every single time we've spoken to one person, we've gotten a bunch of results after it. That's the first thing. But every single time they've put the blinders on. They've said, forget about that, don't do this, just focus on this. Every single time.
It doesn't, and
that is invaluable.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter what type of internet business you're in. And to me, this is the hardest thing, because you have crap coming at you every day through emails, even just, you know, getting on Google, whatever you're doing, there's just crap out there every day saying, oh, do this, this is where you'll make money. Do that, this is where you will make money. And the hardest thing is just to say, focus. That's all you got to do, is you just focus.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up here now, but I want to bring up one last point that goes with your point, is that...
And treat it like a business. It's a business.
When you first get started, you're so excited that you just want to go. You want to
do everything.
But if I'm coaching somebody, I'm saying, just relax.
Slow down.
You need to slow down. This is the first thing you need to do. You need to shoot a video. And if you just say shoot a video, and people will be like, let's say they know how to shoot a video, they know how to get their camera phone
They're
out
happy
and go
with that.
bang. And if you say just shoot a video, they'll probably, in my opinion, they'd be like, well, is that it? I mean, I can do more. Hold off on it. Just hold off on it. This is the first step. Just be patient, which is something I have trouble with. Be patient, and you move from there. That's what I think. Anyway,
And to
do you have
make
any-
people feel comfortable, it doesn't necessarily have to be a video. It could be some
could be
people.
anything, yeah.
Some people like to write, so they
Yeah.
might be comfortable writing.
Yeah, so write one blog post, bang.
Yeah, and if you're not see the other thing about, just before we close off, I mean, people often say there's no such thing as a dumb question, and there's not, especially not in this business. But one of the hardest things for people to understand is that a coach isn't there to judge you. A coach is there to guide you. So it doesn't matter what you ask or what you say to a coach.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for. If some people aren't comfortable with that one-on-one situation, so you know what?
Jump on one of our webinars.
Go on a webinar. Or the other thing is, you can join plenty of whatever niche you're in. Go to Facebook, go to Google Plus, you go whatever. You will find a forum that you can speak to where you can put in questions. You can follow what's going on until you're comfortable. But I would recommend a one-on-one coach. They get to know you personally. They understand where you're coming from. And sometimes a phone conversation, it just gives gives the coach a better understanding than just backwards and forwards written word on a forum.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, any closing thoughts, Louise? How did you find the first podcast? I got to say, you were good when you spoke, but you for the last 20 minutes, me and Mum started talking about the marketing side of things. You started to just look incredibly bored.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Just letting you have your say.
Anyway, that's our 19th podcast or something. Louise is in it, so say g'day to her. And we'll be back next week for our, I think, podcast number 20.
With a topic.
With a topic. Okay, with a topic. Mrs. Structure. We're talking about structure. Mrs. Structure.
They reckon I'm admin. Mrs. Admin's here now.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, if you have any questions, put it in the comment section below, especially about personal coaching or focus. Whatever you got a question about, put it below. There are no dumb questions. And we will see you on the next podcast on Thursday night. See you later, guys.
Night. Have a good week.
Bye.
There you go.